Right now, the Trump administration is talking about using $20 billion to bail out Argentina. So why is Trump abandoning his America First stance to help a foreign leader? And who exactly is Argentina's president Javier Milei, whose nickname is the Madman, who calls himself an anarcho-capitalist, and who is the inspiration for Elon Musk's federal cuts and chainsaw stunts? This crisis actually goes back to 2018, when the first Trump administration pressured the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, to give the biggest loan in its history, $57 billion, to the conservative president of Argentina at that time, Mauricio Macri, who was a wealthy former business partner and personal friend of Donald Trump. The goal of this previous bailout was to stabilize Argentina's economy and reduce inflation in the lead up to the 2019 election, which Trump wanted Macri to win. Now, despite Trump's meddling, Macri was very unpopular and he lost the 2019 election. But the new administration that followed was left with an enormous unpayable debt owed to the IMF, and then the pandemic hit, causing an economic crisis. This is where Javier Milei came in. He exploited that economic crisis and won the next election on a false promise to solve all of Argentina's economic problems by simply gutting government spending. Milei abolished over half of the government's ministries. He laid off huge numbers of government workers, slashed public sector salaries and benefits, cut pensions, and privatized state-owned enterprises. When workers and elderly retirees protested in the street, the libertarian president dispatched the police to violently repress them. All of this resulted in rampant poverty and hunger. Official government statistics published in 2024 found that 53% of Argentina's population was living in poverty. Real wages plummeted immediately after Milei took power at the end of 2023 because he devalued the currency, causing inflation to rise much faster than wages. Under Milei, Argentina has become the single most expensive country in Latin America. 28% of people in the country are now suffering from food insecurity. Despite the growing hunger and poverty, Milei insisted the government should not intervene to provide food and social services because, according to his libertarian worldview, people will simply work harder so they don't die of hunger. Milei's victory in the 2023 election had also led to the inflation of a massive bubble in the Argentine stock market, and that has burst as well. So the Trump administration is stepping in not only to save Milei, but also to bail out rich American elites who invested in risky stocks and bonds in Argentina, all while the Trump administration cuts Medicaid and food stamps at home. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, a billionaire and former hedge fund manager, revealed that the U.S. plans to give $20 billion in a swap line to Argentina's central bank so it has the dollars it needs to pay the debt it owes to wealthy bondholders. Bessent even revealed that the Trump administration is pressuring U.S. companies to, quote, make substantial foreign direct investments in Argentina, quote, in the event of a positive election outcome. In other words, Bessent admitted that the U.S. government is meddling in Argentina's elections, which are coming up in late October. The Trump administration is afraid that Milei and his right-wing allies could lose the election. The Argentine capital, Buenos Aires, already held local elections in early September, and Milei's right-wing party, which is called Liberty Advances, was crushed. Voters overwhelmingly rejected his anti-worker, pro-billionaire agenda. A poll in September found that 61% of people in Argentina say the country is going in the wrong direction under Milei's leadership. Milei has also shown himself to be corrupt. In August, a recording was leaked in which a member of Milei's legal team discussed how a private pharmaceutical company was paying bribes to officials in the Milei administration, including to his sister, Karina. She was accused of stealing $500,000 per month from Argentina's National Disability Agency by channeling it through the pharmaceutical corporation. Trump and Milei have also both carried out similar corrupt schemes. Like the US president with his shady Trump coin, Milei scandalously promoted a meme coin rug pull that caused his own supporters to lose billions of dollars in what became the biggest ever crypto theft. The Trump administration is trying its best to help Milei, but the reality is this probably isn't even going to work. It's likely that Milei and his Liberty Advances party will lose the elections in late October. And while the bailout could temporarily help to stabilize the Argentine economy, it will not permanently fix the crisis. What's also ironic is that Trump's bailout of Argentina is hurting American soybean farmers, many of whom voted for Trump. Meanwhile, the journalist Judd Legum pointed out that one of the biggest benefactors of the Trump administration's bailout is an American hedge fund manager and billionaire named Robert Citrone, who has bet big on the Argentine economy. He also just so happens to be friends with Scott Bessent. Once again, Donald Trump is putting the interests of wealthy investors and billionaires above those of workers. That's the real reason why Donald Trump is handing out $20 billion to the government of Argentina while he's slashing social spending at home.